Like to buy a vowel?
Mm-hmm.
O.
Stay a while and listen.
And welcome to Agony of Positivity AOP podcast. I am Ross. We have, what is it, Moondog Soul?
I'm going with Moon Dancer this time.
Moon Dancer?
Yes.
That is the, that's like the evil cousin to Moonbeam.
Yes, the greatest hero ever that didn't get any kind of airtime whatsoever in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
There is, I guess he'd be an acquaintance. At one point he was a friend, but I haven't heard from the guy in years.
Okay.
He was like a punk rock guy, but he started getting into like smoking pot and stuff. So everyone started calling him Moonbeam. And then another guy I knew, he was actually a roommate of mine. He is really good at like drawing stuff. So he would just draw all kinds of like made up scenarios for Moonbeam to be in. But because he was really good at art, like the pictures looked like him. And the cartoons that he drew that were probably totally fictional scenarios, like hippie stuff to the extreme, became what we thought was reality because it was more entertaining.
Gotcha.
Like him getting stuck inside the oven because he was trying to find his pizza, things like that. So it was more enjoyable. Yes. Eventually he, realized that maybe he was smoking a little too much pot and he kind of got back to normal, but it was just a funny time. Because I was looking through, he had like all these portfolios laying around from time to time of like different art, and I'd look through them once in a while, like when he was there, like, hey, can I look through the? And there'd be like entire comic strips of Moonbeam, just like accidentally planting himself instead of a pot plant. It's like, oh no, I need to water myself.
Now, not to make this not to make this the pot podcast, but now I never really did any of those smoking the weed or anything like that. Yeah. But I knew a lot of people that did, and from what I hear, it does not make you like see stuff.
No,
and like become delusional.
So, in my time, I have smoked some pot. So one, I was convinced that it was an evil thing. So that, like, it can cause some paranoia. So because I thought it was like the worst thing ever, I definitely had some paranoia. So it was less than enjoyable for me. If I was somewhere where I wasn't worried, like, I guess you could say it can like take the edge off, or it's not like that bad. So, but yeah, like never really saw anything. I did get real freaked out once. I thought a ghost ate some of my cheese from a grilled cheese sandwich.
Okay.
But I assumed that was other paranoia combined with like, it's kind of like in some regards like where alcohol slows you down a little bit. Like, for myself being high, I'm not exactly as sharp as I normally am, which some could argue on how sharp I am normally. But what had happened is a little bit of the cheese stuck to, like, it was a Kraft single style thing, and a little bit of the cheese had actually stuck to the wrapper, but I didn't notice that. And I'm in the kitchen trying to figure out what happened to my slice of cheese, because I know it was a full slice and some of it's missing. And my brother was in the living room and he's like, what are you doing in there? He realized it wasn't like the worst thing in the world, so he was always pretty chill about everything. But he knew I'm a little wound tight, so I get freaked out over stuff. I was like, like my immediate, like the first thing that came to my mind was a ghost had eaten part of my cheese. And I believe his response was, that is awesome. Why would a ghost need to eat your cheese? So I then realized that I was being insane and that a ghost had stolen part of my cheese.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't like, I wasn't seeing a ghost. It was, I apparently am a bit of a weirdo, and like those thoughts became more normal to me. And I was like, I don't know, like, it's definitely not like the bad trip where the walls are talking to you. You're not going to experience that stuff. But if your personality can affect what kind of a high you have.
I have a buddy who's done. It sounds like pretty much done every drug known to man, but because I asked him this question once, and I was like, so how severe is weed, compared to the other drugs? He's like, so let me give you an example. He's like, when I smoke dope, he's like, the worst thing that I'll do is maybe order a lot of pizza and I'll just eat a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, so that's the worst thing that's ever happened to me when I'm smoking dope. He's like, now when I've done acid, he's like, I've woken up before and the next door neighbor's swimming pool completely naked. He's like, and I have no idea how I got there. Yep. So he's like, those are the two comparisons there. So I was like, okay.
I have done more damage to myself, property, things in general, as a result of drinking alcohol.
Okay.
Which is completely fine for me to get drunk somewhere, and not worry about it. Whereas, like, just getting mildly buzzed off smoking some pot, like, I was freaked out about because I could go to jail, kind of thing.
Sure.
Which is funny to think about. Now, the worst thing, I did drive a couple times while high, which obviously you shouldn't do because you're impaired. But, like, time flows differently. So I would turn this turn signal on about 3 miles before I needed to make my turn.
Yes.
So if anything, I was driving much slower, which is definitely still a danger. But it wasn't like I was all over the... Like, I wasn't a maniac, but it's still... You shouldn't be doing that. It's not going to be safe. But I always compare it where, like, you see, like, what people do drinking and driving, whereas I'm turn signaling 3 miles in advance of my left turn in a residential neighborhood. And probably just look like a lost pizza delivery driver. So, I have one final pot story. Now, this is someone, like, because I worked in pizza, so there were a lot of people who smoke pot. We had an older driver that I didn't like him because he didn't take the job very seriously. So, which means he didn't make a lot of money, so he thought it was customer problem when it was really him. But he was like, one night I was rushing to get these people their pizza, and they had been so mean to me on the phone. He's like, you know what? I realized about halfway there, I don't care if they ever get their pizza. So I pulled over and pulled out a joint and took a couple hits, and I knew that I didn't care if they ever got their pizza, but I got it to them. And that's what it like. Oh man, yeah. There's like. I don't know.
Ross, you just confirmed or reconfirmed that I will never get DoorDash or anything like that because of people like that.
The people you have this guy who's like, I don't care if they ever get their pizza, and then you have me who's trying to find out the train schedule for the night so I don't get stuck by a train unnecessarily. So
yes, but my
luck
in life. I'm not going to get you. Bring me my order. I'm going to get the other guy.
There's a lot more people smoking pot that don't care.
Yes.
But you need them because they basically tell all their friends that pizza delivery is not a good job and doesn't make money. So people who really put in the effort can make money. Like, I don't want a bunch of competitive people. Like, competitive people are the worst.
So this is the agony of pot stories, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have... I'm trying to think. I do have one more that I will share.
Only
ahead. Because
might as well. Who knows when we'll talk about weed again? So
the world is a depressing place right now, so maybe some humorous stories will be good. So there is... are you aware of there being a difference in types of pot, like low quality, high quality, things like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the higher quality will have like almost like crystals on it, is what it looks like. Some people will refer to it as the super chronic, or some other clever name. My one experience with it was the super chronic. I had only ever smoked pretty much like low quality stuff because I didn't smoke hardly ever. It didn't take very much for me to feel an effect. I'm awful at inhaling, so really hard for me. Like, I will waste a lot. So there was no reason for me to buy anything that was nicer because I'd waste it. That's why cigars are perfect for me, because you don't have to inhale. Well, anyway, a guy I worked with had brought into the movie theater the Super Chronic. And he's like, oh, you got to try this. This is going to be awesome. I was not properly informed how different this was from what I had normally done.
Okay.
Have you seen the pictures of the dogs where they have eaten the pot brownie and they are basically sitting there out of it drooling on themselves?
Yeah.
That was me. So I only took like one real good hit off of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so much stronger than, like, I thought I was dying, because, which you can't die from that, like, pretty much not going to happen. But I just sat on the bench for the rest of my shift.
Yeah.
And I couldn't move or think or anything. Like, customers would walk by, be like, is that guy okay? Like, he's just not feeling too good. And I was just out of it. And paranoid, so I'm sitting there like, I'm going to go to jail.
Yeah.
Bad. But, so, if you live in a state where all of a sudden it becomes legal, pace yourself.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that I've never done it. I've never really wanted to do it.
Right.
But I think it's stupid that there's laws against it, because I don't know. I mean, I think so. It's like acid and like cocaine and stuff like that. Yeah. Those are actually more deadlier to you, but weed. I don't know.
There was actually an article I saw the other day where they were talking about marijuana might be a good way to wean people off of harder drugs.
Sure.
I was like, I'm pretty sure in Dare they told me about how marijuana would lead to me taking all these harder drugs. Like,
sure.
If I smoked pot, all of a sudden I was going to be shooting up heroin and LSD and everything. Not shooting up the LSD, but shooting up heroin and taking LSD and trying to fly off a rooftop, all because I held a bag of marijuana. So,
well, I don't understand. I just don't understand why the government doesn't want to legalize it, because they can tax it and people will buy it. So
yeah,
I mean,
missing out on money if nothing else. But
anyway, so I think we're done with talking about weed and stuff like that. But
the alcohol equivalent would be, don't go from drinking O'Doul's and then just drinking a big old glass of straight moonshine. Like, that's basically what I had done. So
sure.
Any excitement for your week?
Any excitement? Not really. Scrub a lot of rugs.
So I got my.
It's hot.
I can only imagine. I got my free violin from my thing, and it is a faulty violin. I'm pretty sure. They have the peg, like you've seen, like the top of a violin or a guitar where you can tune it. The pegs, you can't tighten the strings, so you can't get them in tune. So is what I'm experiencing. I'm going to buy new strings and see if maybe there's something, like they just use cheap strings, but I cannot, for the life of me, get it in tune with anything.
So are you going to become like Lindsey Sterling and
my hope was that I could play it enough to be like, hey, I can kind of sort of play this thing, kind of like I am with guitar, where it's like, I sort of know what I'm doing, but have never really put a ton of effort into it, kind of thing. But at the moment, it's just going to sit there because, like, just the way it loosens, like, whether there's like a micro adjust at the base, or there's the pins at the top, and it just will not hold tune correctly. So, which is one of the reasons that I just got, I mean, this thing was basically free. So I'm not going to feel bad if it is faulty, and I'll just, I'm sure I'll find somebody that would take it and might be able to fix it or something. But worst case, I'll give it away to somebody or something like that. But I am disappointed.
Actually, I do have something to say. Yesterday, I cleaned this rug. Okay. So there's a process that we call where we flood it, and when we flood it, that's actually where we soak the whole rug down, basically with a water hose.
Okay.
Just make it less technical about it. We just get a big water hose, soak it, and then we scrub it with scrubber with soap on it.
Yeah.
This rug, so it was a shaggy rug. It was a shaggy brown rug. So we didn't really see how dirty. I mean, we smelt it. If you could, it was just reeked of dog urine.
Yeah.
But so I threw it down in this pit, dude, and this soap was like black as I'm scrubbing it. So I scrub it, and like this, you know, when you scrub something, suds will start foaming.
Yeah.
So I just had this big black suddy thing all around this area, guys. And I was like,
so
that is
like
disgusting.
It was full of corruption.
So I get the water hose and I get all that water off, or get all the soap out. I was like, well, I better scrub it again. I scrubbed it again, Ross. It was so jet black. It was disgusting. I scrubbed this thing like, I don't know, had to have been like 10 times. And the water, I mean, the soap never got soapy white color. It was all like black, brown. Disgusting.
Like, how many times do you guys charge more for going over it multiple times?
No. We probably should, but we don't.
Right.
Nope. Disgusting.
So when it was done, though, so you've scrubbed it like half a dozen times, and it's still pretty dirty. Like, would you consider it clean at that point, or like as clean as it's going to get? Or if it was your rug, would you just burn it at that point and be done with it?
So if it was my rug, I'd just throw it in the garbage, because what happens is with rugs, there's something called a wicking effect.
Yeah.
And it means just like anything else, it soaks in whatever you spill on it.
Right.
So certain rugs should never be made into rugs, because the fabric this absorbs anything.
You can't really
that
you don't really clean it,
and it is almost impossible to get all that out. So, and certain rugs are made out of material, and if a dog pees on it, you might as well throw it in the garbage, because there's just no way.
You're not actually going to clean it.
No. I mean, and the thing that cracks me up is, now if it's a family heirloom or something that's been in the family for ever, I understand you want to get it clean. But if it's a $50 rug that you bought at Home Depot, just throw it out and go get it on it. Rug.
Yeah, it's going to be cheaper to just replace it than try to clean it. Now, for these rugs that are bad, say the dog does go on the carpet or the rug.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to immediately catch it and like flood it yourself with water or something, like they make like little hand carpet cleaners. If you were like immediately on top of it, would that be enough to make it not so bad?
Yeah, but the problem is, I think a lot of these rugs that come in, people just don't take care of their rug. Yeah. I mean, so they're responsible enough to clean it, but they're not responsible enough to take care of it. So by the time it gets to us, the dog has already peed on it like numerous times.
Yeah, the same spot. Like the dog's picked its spot, and it's part of the rug, most likely.
Exactly. So, yeah, just disgusting.
All right.
So right now that rug is into stage 2 of the process of like really bad rugs. So we have like this little swimming pool that we bought at Walmart. And we just put it in there, and it's been soaking all weekend. So
like trying the best to get it as clean as possible.
Yeah, so we throw it in this the swimming pool to draw out all the water, or all the urine and everything.
I feel like when you have one of the chain brands come out and clean stuff, they're probably not putting forth the effort that you guys do.
No, they did not.
From some of the stories you've told me, I know that's the case, but I just want to point out that there's going to be a difference if you're using like maybe like a chain company that does your whole house for $10 versus a smaller local company.
Well, when I've cleaned for an older gentleman once, and he saw how I was cleaning the rugs with the carpet wand. Yeah. And he's like, so you actually extract the water out. Because we went there because he had, I'm not going to name the company, had a company come out and clean it, and they did a crappy job because the carpet turned, basically it mildewed because they didn't get all the water out.
Right.
And
so they just
well, so he's like, you extract it. I was like, yeah. I was like, how did they do it? He said, well, this came in, and the guy had the wand in his hand like you do, but he just went and just kept it above in the air and just squirted all my carpet. He's like, and he got some of my table wet and my curtains wet. I was like, wait, so was he shooting it like a gun, just like just spraying it? He's like, well, sort of, yeah. He's like, he just sprayed the top of it and got the carpet wet. And he's like, well, I'm done now. And he's like, it took him like 30 minutes. I was like, yeah. You pay those guys basically to get your house wet, and they left.
What is when you guys go in and do it, because you're obviously taking your time to do it the right way. How long does it, what took them 30 minutes to properly clean that? How long is it taking you guys?
So, to properly clean a house, right? And this is normal. I'll just say a 3-bedroom house. Yeah. That's 2 stories. Will take us about 2 hours.
Okay.
Where it'll take them. So they usually run specials, like 3 rooms for $99, stuff like that. They're in and out within an hour. Or actually, probably that. They're in and out probably like 30 minutes because their whole thing is if they don't upsell you on stuff, they're not making money. So because they'll try to squeeze in like 7 to 8 jobs in a day where we only have like 2. Because we
you guys are actually doing a quality job. So
exactly. So
kind of like one of those things where if you really want it done and you're willing to pay for it, maybe actually think about what you're getting. Yeah, because that's Well,
it's like when you go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger. Yeah, it's all right. But if you actually go to an actual sit down like Red Robin, much better hamburger. You get what
comparatively.
You pay for.
Or if you go to like an actual restaurant that specializes in burgers that's more formal, you're probably going to get like your prime rib made into hamburger or things like that. So
exactly.
All right, we are an informative podcast, if nothing else, today. Do you want to knock out some wrestling real quick?
Yeah, we can talk about some wrestling.
All right, and then on the docket for the day, we got a couple different conspiracy type things to talk about. Just basically trying to have some fun with this episode. So we'll get our bumper going, though.
I don't know what the hell's going on here, folks. Looks like he's just wearing blue. This is a revolution.
All right. So my watching was mostly AEW stuff, which pretty much normal at this point. I try to follow along WWE still, just so I know what's going on. Apparently.
So, are you going to watch In Your House tonight?
Is it? I thought they moved theirs to Sunday as well.
I don't know.
Hold on.
I
thought they changed it and made the NXT have their own thing. Start time and more. Let's see. I thought they made it. Yeah, Sunday, June 7th at 7 Eastern.
Gotcha.
Which I liked NXT stuff being on Saturday because it's a better day.
Yes.
Do you think we're going to get the old In Your House set?
I hope so.
I hope so too. I'm going to turn it on specifically for that to see if they have it. And if they do, then I'm probably going to watch all of it for sure. I'll probably watch it anyway because they got some good stuff going on. But there was a Drew Gulak actually beat AJ Styles on SmackDown last night, which I was surprised by. Yes, they kind of were doing a thing where him and Daniel Bryan.
So are they getting ready to? Are they getting ready to job out AJ Styles and fire him? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think so. But basically, they were talking. He was saying that giving people handouts because Daniel Bryan said he wants to win the Intercontinental title and defend it weekly, which I think would be an excellent use of it. And he's talked about that.
Somebody else is doing that. Who else is doing that? We're defending a title weekly.
John Cena with the U.S. title is who you're thinking of. Oh wait, Cody's doing that too.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Recently, someone else said that.
Yeah, honestly, if we get something like that where 2 companies want to take their what we would assume is a secondary title and give us a good match every week, please copy each other. try to one up each. You know what? Try to one up each other with that, please, because it makes for some good viewing. But yeah, so basically,
it's funny to make the title actually mean something. It's weird.
Well, and then maybe just keep that as the theme of that title, is that it's defended regularly, because like John Cena did that with the U.S. title, but then once he didn't have it, it wasn't really treated the same. So it's like WWE's real bad about building. This is my feeling on it. They successfully build something up and give it some value, and then they forget about it. It's like, oh, this is our favorite toy, and then they put it in the toy chest, and you never see it again.
If Brock Lesnar can't win it, then I don't care about it.
Right. That'd be crazy if Brock decided he wanted to be the Intercontinental Champion and defend it weekly. I don't think they're going to pay Brock enough to do that. No. But that'd be pretty neat. But yeah, so because basically AJ Styles said, well, that's like giving people a handout for the Intercontinental title. If you defend it that much, there's no way that many people deserve it. And they went back and forth. He accused, now I'm summarizing because I was only half paying attention to the part of this, where basically Drew Gulak took a handout from Daniel Bryan to be his coach or something, kind of, is the vibe I got from it. But yeah, so the end result was he actually beat Styles. Like, it was an upset. So that's kind of cool, but seems like they're kind of doing something with him and Bryan for sure. So that's good. And I'm sure like Styles was okay with that, because Gulak is really good. He just hasn't had anything that had some bite to it yet.
So what do you think of the rumors? And these are just rumors,
right?
Who knows what do you think about Adam Cole? Because from what I heard, his contract runs up here pretty soon.
Yeah,
as early as August, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if these are true or not. But what do you think? How damaging would that be to the NXT brand if Adam Cole left?
If he left
with the AEW
or New Japan,
Ring of Honor, or wherever,
basically just left. It depends, because you could take. Now I'm far enough removed away from watching NXT that like I'm still familiar with it, but like it seems like Adam Cole and Undisputed Era have an awful lot of the buzz. But you got Keith Lee and you got Velveteen Dream, who both are pretty popular and demand some attention. Like, they're worth watching. So they could potentially be okay. Yeah. But Adam Cole seemed like, to me, because I'm like a more hardcore wrestling fan, feels like a big deal to me. So I'd be like, oh wow, he didn't want to stay with WWE. But then it's like, well, unless he just stays in NXT forever. But, you know, it seems like they still bring people up to the main roster.
Yeah. Sure.
He's not going to do anything on the main roster, would be my guess.
Sure.
I could be absolutely wrong, but I think that's what's going to happen is a bunch of nothing. If he gets moved up. But I think it would be telling that him being a pretty big star opted not to stay. When you add it to the laundry list of other people.
Well, why in the world have they not promoted Keith? I mean, like Dream, I've never understood the Velveteen Dream. I don't get that character.
Right.
But Keith Lee, I mean, how have you not promoted that guy? That guy's a beast.
Yeah. Well, and he's been wrestling for. It's not like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not sure. Cause yeah, like I'm not super huge on Keith Lee, but he's grown on. Like from you talking about him all the time, I've watched a little bit more of his stuff, and he's definitely worth watching.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that I get Velveteen Dream, but I'm entertained by him. Like, he's a good character to be in a feud with, because he can do some kind of out there things that are just like, oh, that's okay. Like, if you're feuding with Orange Cassidy, kind of the same thing, where things you would normally never do make total sense all of a sudden. So you can kind of go in some directions with some of your stuff that's a little bit different. And Dream, if nothing else, he's very good in the ring. So, but yeah, it's, man, I really wouldn't be surprised if Adam Cole left. Like, it seems like it would make more sense to be with your wife and everything. But we've seen a few people stay with.
Are they married?
Whatever. They will be eventually. I would assume. It seems like in wrestling now, you just get married. Like, it's not nearly as chaotic as it used to be.
I mean, you can say what you want, and you can say that Adam Cole did it himself, but Adam Cole is where he is, in my opinion, because of the Bullet Club, which is the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. I mean, they're the ones that promoted him, made him a star on the BTE. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I would pretty much agree with that. I mean, he's definitely good. Hate Panama Sunrise. Hate The Last Shot. So I don't really care for his finishers, but
yeah.
Actually, Last Shot's okay. The Panama, I'm so tired of pile drivery things of any kind. And his jumping from the second rope, that doesn't add any, like, it doesn't make it harder.
Sure.
Like Adam
pile
Page,
drivers always scare me because I'm always afraid that someone's actually going to get hurt, like Stone Cold. What happened to him?
Yes.
Type stuff. So
yeah, jumping sit out tombstones, probably scary.
Yeah.
Again, unless you got someone like Cage doing it, whose quads are so big that your head is nowhere near the ground, and it's not a worry. Yes. It's funny though, because when I was little, I would wrestle with like other kids, and a lot of times, like, I was the bigger kid, but we would do like kind of grappling, but we'd kind of do real wrestling moves too. I would pile driver people all the time, but even as a small child, I understood that you don't want their head to hit.
Yes.
And never paralyzed anybody, never dropped anyone on their head, never gave anybody a concussion.
Well, anytime that I like wrestled with my sister and stuff, I understood even as a child that pile driver could go wrong. So I always did the jackknife power bomb onto pillows and stuff because I knew pile driver.
I only did it on fire hydrants.
I only did it on TVs, table.
We only used lighter fluid because it burns up quick.
Yes.
The ECW sitcom.
Yeah.
But yeah, like with my criticism of the Panama Sunrise off the set, like Hangman Page doing the flip into the ring with the lariat.
Yes.
Maybe you could argue if it was just dead on spot perfect, it might add a little bit to the clothesline, but probably not. Like just as another one of those the flashiness to it.
I don't know. So I'm going to kind of argue. So now, if this was real,
yes,
that momentum that you're doing, where you're flipping,
can give a little more.
I mean, I would say we put a little bit more into it.
Would you not think though that just running off the ropes real fast, Adam, would give you just as much, and you'd be in more control, like Bradshaw doing the clothesline from hell?
To be honest with you, I think it might be the same. Because Paige is a big boy.
Yeah.
So if he's flipping like that momentum going forward is, and if it's real, I think it would hurt.
We need to build a ring in your backyard to test this out.
Yes. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think if you're going completely realistic, I understand that move more than some. I'll say.
I wonder if anyone's done like a stunt. Like, there's a way, because I think just running. I mean, you'd have to go from one. Like, you'd have to hit the ropes twice to get the momentum.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't just like back into the rope. Like, you'd have to really hit them from the other side. But either way, let's see here. Let's get to. I don't know. That was basically the end of me with WWE. But yeah, I would, if I had to guess, I would say that Adam Cole will go to AEW or New Japan. Yeah. But I also thought that about Marty, and that totally never saw that one coming. So him showing up in Ring of Honor,
what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because I still wonder if Ring of Honor and AEW will eventually do something with each other.
I would hope so. Well, I mean, Marty did show up in that one episode of Being the Elite.
He did.
So
he did.
You would think there's money to be made.
So before we go to AEW, I think it needs to be said, because this Twitter feed, I guess it's just a recent. Twitter account. It needs to be mentioned because it has provided me numerous laughs this week.
It's what will Mongo do?
What will Mongo do? Yes.
Yeah, that's our at. If you want to check it out on Twitter, it's at that with an S. That's our Mongo. And then it just has, there was something posted.
Michael, it's going to shoot him in. McMichael. There you go. He sits on it. One. Try to hook him up. Got him now, Joe. 2.
So there's going to be some audio there that you wouldn't have heard. But it's from the most recent thing where there's like this bizarre sunset flipped at hip where you're just like, what is going on here?
The way Mongo, because I've been watching a lot of those clips, and the way Mongo reacted when someone hits him with a briefcase or a chair or something, it is great because his body, the way he portrays being hit, he just goes completely numb and just falls over like a tree.
Well, like at this point, the second one down is about 11 hours old. I don't know if that's Renegade or Sick Boy or who that is, but the guy goes to do like an Irish whip, and Mongo tries to reverse it. And usually if you're reversing the Irish whip, you basically plant center and the other person kind of works around you. He's got some weird footwork going with it. It looks more realistic if you think about it. Like where he's just like manhandling this dude. But
the clips of him wrestling in like tag matches with Arn Anderson and Ric Flair, and watching them in the background and watching Mongo kind of like this butcher moves is hysterical because the looks and that Arn Anderson and Ric Flair give each other.
What is this one? The Masterful Adventures of Sid at My Buddy Sid.
Okay,
hold on a second.
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
There's gonna be some audio.
Oh my God! What happened to my car? Gilbert! Where are you?
So, if you go to that, Sid's car is flattened, and he's like, "Oh my God, what happened to my car? Goldberg, where are you?" Oh man.
Yeah. So
there's some funny stuff to check out.
So our listeners on the podcast, if you get a chance, check that out. What was it again, Ross?
It was My Buddy Sid, and then the others. That's
No.
Yeah.
That's our Mongo. Okay.
Yeah.
Check it out, and you just want some good laughs. I mean, I laughed for like 30 minutes one day. I was watching all of them.
We got our Twitter, which is at the AOP podcast, and we follow it. So we're not following a ton of stuff, so you could find it that way if you had to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But anyways, I just thought that deserved a mention because that guy has provided. Whoever did that count did a good job.
More impressive is they went through that much old Mongo McMichael stuff on purpose.
I believe someone said on a wrestling show that I watched, who in the world thought it was a good idea to give Mongo the pile driver as a finisher?
Yeah, I wondered that too as I was watching it. I was like, he did a tombstone pile driver as a finisher. That is frightening in a way. Yeah, so there's that. There's apparently the Adventures of Sid, which is My Buddy Sid, I think is what it was. And then you have the Rick Rude Sells Atomic Drops or something, or Rick Rude Sells is the other. Okay. So I'm sure we're going to get more. I can't wait till we get the Ultimate Warrior in.
Oh, dude, you could do endless hours of entertainment. Macho Man is another one. Any of those 80s wrestlers will give you some great entertainment. So
I'm sure there's some Honky Tonk Man.
Yes.
I don't have the time to keep up with something like that or care enough, but I will definitely browse it. So
sure.
All right.
To AEW.
Yeah. We kicked off with the Tag Team Championship match, which was Kenny and Hangman against Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian, along with Penelope Ford, who apparently turned her hair silver.
Yes.
I mean, pretty much like we figured Hangman and Omega won, But they had a lot of time. Like, this doesn't say how long the match was, but they had to have 20 minutes, didn't they?
It seemed very long, yes.
I mean, they let... Sabian and Havoc looked good in it, though. Like, there were a couple times where I was like, oh, are they going to do something crazy? But...
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, I thought it was a good match. It was nice to see Paige wrestle again.
Yeah.
And then...
Instead of wandering in the woods on BTE.
well, and I guess, too, on, like, BTE, being the Elite, that's... If for some reason you're listening to this and you've never checked that out, it's pretty much... Excuse me, the Young Bucks have, like, the weekly Monday show that they put on there where it's weird.
It's basically
if you've
just
never
an
seen
extra clip behind the scenes footages.
Yeah, but they definitely do some storyline stuff over there. But yeah, Hangman Page is actually hanging out with the Elite again, kind of. Although he's not paying too much attention. Was he playing the Switch? Is that what he was doing? Or was he on his phone?
It looked like it, yeah.
Yeah, because it's ridiculous. But yeah, you'll get some more Adam Page over there, along with his own personal intro during the quarantine, where all the dynamite effects go off when he opens the cabinet and things like that, or he's mowing the grass, which is awesome. They actually put the Tully Blanchard Sean Spears thing on TV, where basically Tully was telling Spears that he's a joke and he needs to get real serious real fast.
Yeah.
Which I was worried that was going to be one of those real awesome things they did, but never made it to TV.
Yep.
But they went ahead and did that. And then...
So, yeah, I mean, it's funny because it might have been last week's podcast where I was kind of criticizing...
the direction?
Not criticizing Spears, but just basically saying, okay, so basically he just wants to be a joke. And then, I guess, literally the next week.
Yeah, they answered it.
Yeah, so... Which is good. I mean, I like Spears. I think he could be a really cool wrestler.
He's a big guy too, like compared to everybody else. So it's just a matter of getting him there. So did I miss? Is the black leather glove something that I don't get?
So when I saw them mentioning that, and I'm like, are you copying Seth Rollins? Is that what we're doing? Because
I thought Diesel or like a coal miner's glove thing. Like,
okay.
I don't know if there's something old with the Horsemen where one of them wore one glove. Like,
yeah, that might be a very old storyline that people have just completely forgotten. I don't know. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. But yeah, because I saw that and I'm like, the black. What does that mean? Because I thought they were stealing. Seth Rollins' gimmick. Be honest with you.
Here we go. This is the significance of the black glove gifted to Sean Spears. I am looking at Last Word on ProWrestling.com is the site I'm using. We're reading this live, so who knows? Let's see, because All Elite Wrestling had posted the black glove that has been part of wrestling history for decades. So Ted DiBiase, Blackjack Mulligan, Barry Windham have all worn this glove. So I guess they're just going with like a throwback. Yeah, because DiBiase had like the fist drop and stuff like that, but that was more... This says it was Mid-South, which would have made sense. Diesel had the one glove.
Yeah, I remember Diesel having it.
Yeah, Kane did it at one point too. I don't remember that. So I'm just looking here. Usually by heels embracing their dark side to achieve success. Used by heels, it signified success.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it's basically just a nod to the past kind of thing. So
which is cool, I guess.
Right. I kind of thought that might be it, but I was like, is there something like real significant? Because I didn't remember Tully Blanchard wearing a black glove.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, but I mean, it's definitely... I mean, basically in a week's time, they had 2 promos, and that could potentially turn him around for sure. So
well, because his new nickname besides the chairman, since I guess he can't use chairs, in AEW, is Heartless. So I guess it goes along with that. Yeah. So.
Well, it'll be funny though if like give him a couple enhancement matches, he shows like a real mean streak or something, and then it's like okay, and then let him beat somebody fairly credible. It's like, oh wow, look, they might have successfully rehabbed him if they stick with it in 3 weeks' time, potentially. Would be amazing. Yeah, because I was pretty much with you, where it's like, I don't know what's going on now. Is he just there to have fun, or what's happening? But man, Tully was fired up in that promo.
He
was screaming about it. Like,
yeah.
I wonder if he was like really mad. Like,
how dare you put my face on your crotch?
They showed that to him like right before that promo. They're like, "Hey, this is the direction we want you guys to go," and didn't tell him that they were just messing with him.
If you want some genuine emotion, that's how I would have done it.
Right, like get him like super mad about this. All right, so we got Brian Cage and Taz. Poor Sean Dean. Is all I could say. He just wrecks this dude pretty much, and then we get like another promo. Taz calls out Moxley for like kind of snickering at him a little bit for the way he handled it, which I thought was a really good promo. Again, like, I mean, you're not going to be let down by Taz, I don't think, promo wise, when he has something that he's into.
Now, I think it's funny how we're getting all these squash matches.
Yeah.
I remember in the beginning of AEW, they would squash their own main talent. So, do you like that now that they're squashing basically, I guess, independent guys to basically get their guys over, or do you think that
I'm okay with it? Because now there was a period of time when all I could ever watch was like Superstars, or like whatever the syndication, and it was almost always squash matches, and you never got anything competitive. I always hated it. Like, I wanted to see competitive matches. But over the years with like WWE, like, they kind of got rid of the job guy or the enhancement talent, whatever you want to call it, but you still end up with someone who plays that role. And then it's like, you're taking someone who's got a character, though, and you're turning them into that, and it's like, well, if you're just going to beat up some random dude, why not bring some no-name in like AEW's kind of doing? But then, what's the one guy? He fought Phoenix and Omega and looked real strong against him. I can't remember.
I can't think of the guy's name.
I think he was on the show.
Wasn't it the captain?
I can't remember. I feel bad. We'll figure it. I think he's on this show. But either way, where it's like, you can take one of those guys and like over time build them up a little bit. Eventually, maybe they beat somebody, and it's like, oh, well, not only did they serve a purpose, but if someone you saw something in, you gave them a slow build, people got familiar with them. Now they go from being an absolute nobody to, hey, that was that guy who like was getting beat, but he was doing real good, and now he's actually starting to beat some people.
Well, which I thought that's what they were going to do with Pineapple Pete, but they kind of just dropped the ball there. Unless, I don't know, maybe he'll start next week. But I mean, why would you go up against a match with Chris Jericho and then not really do anything with that? You know?
Right. Well, I mean, you saw his tights. It's only fair that he got obliterated. He got too much in my opinion. He was actually on Jericho's podcast this week, I think, or last week.
Oh, was he?
I haven't been able to get to listen to it yet. But, I mean, he definitely got, like, a big rub from that no matter what. So, if he starts having some more matches, because he was in the crowd again, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him every week in the crowd, but how do you go from basically main eventing
well, I mean, Jericho? To be fair, he really hadn't had much in the way of matches, and he's thrown in against Jericho. So, as long as there's some follow-up, I'm okay with it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Jericho destroyed him in a matter of seconds, and then the storylines were like, okay, I'm no longer Pineapple Pete, whatever his name is.
Yeah, his real name.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'll give him a week or two to see if there's some follow up, but it could be where it's like he ended up in over his head, but he's still, he can be a enhancement guy for a little bit and built up, because he definitely has some notoriety now, no matter what. So people are going to pay attention to him. So we'll see. So we got that the enhancement match. But to your question, I like what AEW is doing right now, where they have like the indie guys that do like a handful of shows or something, and then they can try to build them up. Now, like I was saying, I used to not like that style of match, but now I kind of see the point in it, where you get to see someone do some stuff. It's something they talk about, like the weight of the win-losses, to where, you know, if you're beating a nobody, yeah, it's a win, but it's not going to hold as much as if you beat somebody that mattered.
Sure.
And for the most part, again, like, I'm okay with how they've done it. Like, they at least talk about wins and losses. So it's still better, like, oh, someone's on a win streak, someone's not on a win streak. Like, it comes up. It's still better than it's not really addressed at all.
Yeah.
So, but Moxley comes out to respond, and I thought he had a pretty good rebuttal to it. And basically saying, like, you know, you're not going to intimidate me, so go ahead and do whatever, but you're going to be in for a fight, kind of thing. So
sure. Now, the next segment I have a problem with.
There's just luchadors roaming the streets.
The what now?
Because the next is the construction fight with Lance Archer.
Yeah.
Where he just found a random luchador wandering a construction road site.
That problem, I mean, that didn't... yeah, I mean, if you now that you mention it, yeah, that's kind of stupid. But I think they what they did with Jake the Snake, they made him look weak. I'm like, okay, so are you just ditching Jake the Snake now? I don't know.
Like after the Tyson thing.
Yeah, it just seemed like Jake the Snake was actually scared that the Murder Hawk is becoming a bigger monster now, which I thought that's what Jake the Snake wanted. But now, I don't know. I just didn't like how I didn't like how they used Jake the Snake in this.
Yeah, where he seems to actually be concerned that. Yeah. Maybe that was the point. Was Jake was just there for a little while to get some to help get some credibility for him, since people.
Sure.
I mean, even new wrestling fans, I'm sure, have heard tale of Jake the Snake. Maybe he was just meant to be with him for a brief while, and then he gets so out of control that even Jake the Snake is like, I don't know about this. And maybe that's what they want.
I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like it. Maybe, I don't know. Did you catch by any chance, this is unrelated to that, but for Alex Marvez, do you ever listen to the Eric Bischoff podcast? No.
So,
yeah, I mean, I have, but not recently.
So a couple weeks ago, they were doing the first AEW pay-per-view. Yeah. And somehow it came up where Conrad had asked Eric about Alex Marvez. And, I mean, so that was when I think they were still trying to have him do commentary, and he was not doing that good of a job. But Eric Bischoff just buries this dude. And I'm listening to it, and I was like, well, I wasn't a fan of the guy, but is all this true? Like, the stuff Bischoff is saying is just, like, insane. And it goes on. If you've listened to that, when Eric Bischoff starts talking, he basically talks for, like, 20-minute segments before you get a chance to ask another question. So it's him just going off on Marvez like that. And I was like, where did these guys interact for there to be that kind of animosity? Like, I just couldn't figure it out. Well, I listened to, maybe it's the next week's show or something, and I don't even, and he was like, I need to do an apology real quick. He was thinking, I believe he said, of Brian Alvarez.
Okay.
So he, for some reason, he confused the two names, and he was like, I will say that I was not a fan of Marvez's work, something to that effect, but he wanted to apologize for what he did. He's like, I don't know that I've ever even met the dude. He's like, what I was saying was directed at someone else, and he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, but I was glad, because I was like, man, how did this guy make Eric Bischoff hate him this much?
Well, and that makes sense, because Brian Alvarez, I can't say his name. Yes, he. I don't think he's a fan of Eric Bischoff either, so that makes sense.
Right, it's a two-way street. But it was just weird listening to it, because I was like, man, he is killing this dude. I don't understand. And some of the criticism didn't even make sense. But in case anyone heard that and only listened to that one episode of the Eric Bischoff, there's some follow-up where he had the wrong person, but holy moly. He just tore into this dude for, like, a dissertation. Like,
sure.
Holy moly. So let's see here. We got Private Party hanging out with Matt Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like the different versions of Matt Hardy to where he can be the crazy Damascus, or he can actually do just like a normal promo with people?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think that's good?
I think it's a different take on the broken character.
Yeah.
It makes sense because he's broken, so he doesn't know who he is. So right. I have no problem with him switching all the time because you get different characters, and it seems like Matt Hardy is actually really enjoying it. So
yeah, well, I like it because again, you don't have to shoehorn. I don't know if that's the right word, but like it's not crazy broken Matt Hardy. Everything's the chair of wheels and the mower of lawns. You can have just Matt Hardy who talks like a normal human being.
Yeah.
Because like him interacting with some people as a normal person is going to make a lot more sense than Damascus version that's going to be crazy. So I like it. It's an interesting take on it that I think works pretty good. But he's going to hang out with Private Party in the future, maybe?
It seems like it, yeah.
Should be interesting. I guess the big takeaway from that, though, was he walked by Sammy, and I like that they have Sammy was on his mobility scooter. But he told Sammy they were cool. I don't know if Sammy was buying that or not, but
yeah.
So we got let's see, Fyter Fest is going to be just like a normal broadcast over 2 weeks this year.
Okay.
I mean, whatever. Like, if you're going to give me decent matches and a story to watch, I don't care how you do it. Honestly,
I remember that pay-per-view last year being kind of stupid. So,
well, yeah, that was the one. I mean, they acknowledged that it was a mess. Like,
yeah,
Kenny basically, like, they designed it around the whole Fyre Fest. I think it is weird though that they're keeping the same name, unless they're going to pair it with like the fighting games again.
Exactly. Yeah.
But either way, like, give me some good matches, and that's whatever. You know, I'd watch it if it was Dynamite, so I'll watch Fyter Fest. It doesn't matter. Colt Cabana against Jericho.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see this match.
Yeah.
I really, to be honest, I didn't care one way or the other.
Yeah. I will say this: it didn't seem like they were good dance partners with each other.
Yeah, like it just didn't.
It didn't seem like they flowed very well, which, you know,
right. Well, I mean, they've never had a match. I mean, we've seen Jericho have matches with people he's never touched, and it's been really good.
Yeah.
I know Colt Cabana is good. I'm not super into him. He's like real athletic, but yeah, something was definitely off. Like it just wasn't working. So whatever. But yeah, Jericho gets the win with Judas Effect. Like, there's not. I guess the big thing is like Dark Order going after Colt again.
Yeah.
Where Mr. Brody was even like, everyone has losses, even me. And then they gave him a bottle of water. It was pretty nice. Even though there's bottles of water literally sitting everywhere. The one that he.
The Dark Order is concerned about your hydration.
Yes. It's nice of them.
Yes.
Yes. I did like the way though that Mr. Brody talked about like everyone has to face losses, even him.
Yeah. So
they at least address that, and it'll kind of move on.
Yeah.
So, although it would be funny for Mr. Brody to get mad, and then if someone can be like, "Where's your victory over Moxley, current AEW champ?" Oh wait, you haven't beat him either. All right.
That's true. Yeah.
You're like, when you beat someone that I haven't, come and talk to me. And then actually follow that up and have them do that.
Yeah. So, So the whole thing with Orange Cassidy feuding with
The Inner Circle.
The Inner Circle.
Yes.
Weird. I don't know how I feel about it.
I have to assume that we're getting Jericho Orange Cassidy, because there's no way Jericho doesn't want to work with the guy.
Sure. Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's just weird. I don't. Maybe it's because I don't like the Best Friends. I think
it's probably that. I would have to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cassidy came out when he was calling out the baddest man on the planet. So I'm real curious what the Tyson Jericho thing is going to end up being. I assume Jericho getting knocked out, but at some point. I
assume as well, yes. I'll tell you what, watch AEW Dark with Santana and Ortiz.
Yeah.
That was a great match. I don't know if you watched that.
Yeah, I kind of did. Because I don't know, like, I hadn't seen Santana and Ortiz for a while. So I kind of watched that. But yeah, that match was pretty long, too, for Dark.
Oh, and watching that and the way they did that, it kind of reminded me of watching Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
I mean, because you knew Santana and Ortiz was going to win this match.
Right.
But the way they did it, and they showed just how brutal they were, and actually, they just dominated. It was good storytelling.
Right. Yeah. No, they'll get their time to shine, I'm sure. I forgot about this. Britt Baker training in the Jaguars facility. Yeah. My favorite part of this was when they had like the 2.5 pound weight tied to the wheelchair and she was rolling it.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing with Big Swole and Nyla.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you should have let Big Swole do it, like beat a enhancement talent. I don't know. The whole thing just seemed weird to me, especially with her, like Britt Baker, like ramming her car into the guardrail or whatever.
Yeah,
the whole thing just seemed off to me. I don't know. Yeah, it just seemed off to me.
Yeah, the match itself, I liked the match.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted one Big Swole with the Power Ranger outfit. Obviously, her stock goes up in my mind.
Sure.
I almost wouldn't have minded to see her get an upset victory against Nyla Rose. Okay. Just to be like, because they were talking about like first match back after a title loss is a hard one. I could see them playing that up, but I mean, it makes sense for Nyla to beat Big Swole.
Sure.
But I mean, I think she looked good in the match.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like super brutal or anything, but I thought it was a fine match overall. But yeah, like the part with Brit, like I just don't understand. They rammed the barricade. Yeah. Like, it was very strange.
Again,
I think they're trying to work the best they can with what they got, but that's one of those ones that's a little bit weird. Because then she chased the vehicle with a chair. Big Swole did.
Yes, yeah. It was just weird. I understand you want to keep Britt Baker, I guess, somewhat relevant.
Right. Well, yeah, I think just like the promo package was plenty, because that was hilarious.
Yeah. Exactly.
I know we got Darby interview.
Speaking of another promo that I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Darby's just a weird guy.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna get like Cage and Darby at some point, so we'll just have to see. And I imagine Darby's gonna fly all over the place for that one.
Well, it's the match has already happened in the Indies, so you can look that up.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
Yes, Cage, like you said, pretty much just throws them all over the place. So,
is it entertaining though?
Yeah.
Like, if they were doing an updated version.
If you like seeing a big dude just throw people around, yeah.
I mean, mostly I'm wanting to be entertained. Yeah, it seems like Darby, when he does like his videos, I like those better than some of the interviews he's given. But I wanted to go back real quick. Did you happen to watch the shot of Brandy that had Orange Cassidy on it?
Yeah.
Weird. That show is just a big train wreck every episode. Like, I have not seen a single episode that's just not a train wreck.
I think surprisingly the one I thought was the best was DDP. Yeah. I thought DDP did it because he was just totally just bashing Brandy on her choices of like seasoning and stuff.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
because DDP's a health nut and everything,
yes.
So it was just fun.
I think that is putting it lightly.
Yes.
No, I mean, I'm in because Darby was on there, and it was, it was Darby. Like, his interviews are pretty much he's a weird guy, and other people they don't have weird people interviewing the art guy, so you're always going to get those weird interactions where it just feels weird. But yeah, the Orange Cassidy shot of Brandy is pretty good if you want more Orange Cassidy in your life.
Mm-hmm.
He talks more than I've ever heard him talk on anything. So
yes. So I think the best part of Dynamite, in my opinion, was the FTR package.
Yeah, like the sit down.
Yep.
With Tony.
Just because they just totally just job the Young Bucks.
Yeah. Well, they don't even mention them.
Yeah.
Well, and I like where they just want to punch him in the face because every time anyone says their name, you hear the Young Buck, and the vice versa. He's like, I'm sure they're kind of the same.
But everything they say in that package is true. They're like, you got. They pretty much just say that the whole tag team division in AEW is garbage because the tag team champions are a non-tag team.
Right. But I would argue that they've been a consistent tag team at least. Like, they wrestle like a tag team. Like, how long do you have to be? I mean, I could say that Dax and Cash are just two guys.
Sure. But I mean, let's face it though. I mean, and I'm really shocked that they made Omega and Hangman a tag team because those are single wrestlers.
Yeah,
I mean, and they're stars. Yeah. So why are you making them tag team?
It's a weird decision.
I questioned it.
It probably worked out the absolute best for the company overall, but
well, with looking at what's happening with Corona and everything, sure, yeah,
like they lucked out. I think it was supposed to be like probably short term, and then you'd have Hangman go his way, and the rest of the Elite do whatever they were going to tell, and then it just happened to work. But the FTR interview, it's almost become normal to refer to them as FTR already.
Yep.
So, conclusion though, you see Butcher and Blade show up very angry.
Sure.
Which is fair. Very excellent timing that they waited until the end of the interview to interrupt though.
Yeah, it's almost as if it was planned that way or something.
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if wrestling's not staged a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
But
the way they ended up with Cash throwing his water bottle right in his face, that was good.
Yeah. So we'll get I guess that'll be their first match.
Yep.
Man, my nose is super itchy today. If anyone's watching this on YouTube, it's not due to cocaine or anything. I just have an itchy nose. Obviously, I'm not a small guy. Cocaine is not my problem in life. But yeah, so I'm interested to see them in a match. So I'm excited for that. This was actually that much later where the interview with Colt happened about his loss.
Yeah.
I thought it was straight to it. But we got the main event. We got Jungle Boy against Cody.
Yeah.
Coach Arn. They still don't have the completed belt. I hope where I read the one thing where Cody was like, I don't know, I kind of like it the way it is. I hope that people talk him out of any insane idea of just keeping it the way it is.
Well, no one talked him out of the neck tattoo, so.
The neck tattoo's kind of grown on me.
Sure, I mean, and to be fair, it's kind of grown on me too.
It's still weird.
At the end of the day, it's not my body, but
right.
I hope they do something with that belt. That belt looks like something much. That it's an unfinished thing that you do in a video game. That's what it looks like.
Well, it literally looks like an unfinished belt is the problem.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see the finished version. Even if they don't go with gold, if they just do that little bit of trim and some other stuff, just something. But either way, this was a pretty good match overall. They built up where Cody's had issues with like the quicker people, like Darby in the past.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Cody needed to bleed in this match by smashing his head into the wall.
I do believe I sent you a text. I can definitely tell Dusty Rhodes was Cody's father.
I will say though, I understand what they're going for. Cody did get like the perfect amount of blood though, I would say. Where it's not enough to be like, oh god, he's bleeding way too much. It's enough to give that little bit of color to look good. Like, he can still, like, there's an art to getting the right amount, I would say, and not going the Shawn Michaels Hell in a Cell match route or the Eddie route. But
I don't know. I just don't think the blood was necessary in this match. It just, I don't know.
My thought is he was like, oh, it's the first time this title's being defended. We need something extra.
Yeah.
And I assume that's how that went.
Yeah. But so he threw him into the wall, and that call, I don't know. It was in my opinion, it was poorly done.
He tried to do the headbutt and then headbutted the wall, basically.
Sure.
It probably not needed, but his heart's in the right place. He's trying to do whatever he can. Trying to think. It was just like a good overall match. I mean, it wasn't the most amazing thing, but Jungle Boy looks tough. It's not like Jungle Boy's had like a ton of wins singles, so him losing to Cody doesn't really hurt him, I don't think. Like, it's still basically, he can put up a fight, but he's not there yet. But I mean, letting him win the Battle Royal was pretty good to come off the loss from MJF. So, I mean, you can tell that as long as he keeps with it, he'll be somebody, I would say. Like, he'd be a pretty easy guy.
Sure.
Yeah, like, they always talk about him being the future, so I would believe that.
See, but in every interview I hear him in, he seems flaky. Like, he could, like, I don't want to do this anymore, type thing,
Right.
I don't know.
Could be.
I could be wrong, but...
Well, again, he's... Like, it is weird where you have, like, this world of wrestlers that... Not, like, the happy-to-be-here wrestlers, but, like, they just wanted to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like they were like, I want to be the world champion one day. They just wanted to be a wrestler, and it's like, oh, I didn't even think I'd make it this far. I don't know what to do now.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly. So there's not that... I guess that same level of drive, kind of? But based on all the stories you hear of, like, Hogan or early run Shawn Michaels, I feel like I'd rather take people that didn't think they'd potentially get to where they're at than the people who are like, nah, brother, that's not going to work for me. How about if instead I hit my finish and I win?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll see... I guess next week will be an open challenge? Or, no, he's fighting Private Party
Isaiah.
Guy. Should be interesting.
Right?
Yeah. Pretty sure it's Isaiah.
Sure. Again, why are you taking a tag team wrestler and making them... I don't know. I have a problem with that. I have strict rules in my head when it comes to wrestling. It's weird.
Theoretically, there wasn't... He's not the one who was injured, right?
No, he wasn't the one that was...
So he couldn't have a tag team match right now, but he gets an opportunity on that.
It's true.
So you can explain it that way. That'd be my guess. And it's like, oh, sorry that your partner got hurt. Hey, have a shot at this. Let's see what you can do.
Sure.
And if he does anything good at all, they can... Again, I'm giving them benefit of the doubt that they'll play up to stuff and be like, well, you're looking at like a tag team specialist who's going against someone who does an awful lot of single matches. It's going to be hard. Yeah. And then you can be like, well, I'm surprised that he's doing as good. He's used to being able to tag out, all this stuff. You could make it a character builder for him, if nothing else.
So,
or they'll just bury him the whole match. So we'll see.
Yes.
I'm thinking of WWE.
So I don't think this was. I can't remember if this was Dynamite or Dark. But the whole QT Marshall and
Allie?
Dustin Rhodes thing,
Yeah.
it's weird.
I'm already done with that storyline in my mind.
Yeah.
That feels like a super old school storyline that is dumb.
Especially since Excalibur asked Allie about, so are you no longer the money? And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm distracted by QT's
Yes.
body. I'm like, what?
Yes,
I don't know. It's just like you said. I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'm done with it. I think I don't care about it. So
unless they're doing we know people aren't going to care about this, and we're going to do something to make it relevant.
Yeah,
it'll be real interesting. Or they're just like, let's try one of these and see what happens, because that is more like a dark storyline overall.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
I understand you need matches to opening up pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So if that's just going to be an opener match with Dustin fighting QT, okay.
Yeah, for whatever reason. Well, and I mean, is it better, because people compare to like the Attitude Era all the time, is it better that they have a little bit of a story going on with them than literally nothing? Like, even if it's not the best story, there's still at least something going on from a character standpoint that you might get something good out of. Like,
yeah,
I don't see anything where I'm like, yeah, this is going to change my opinion on somebody. But there might be something that they pull out of it where there's like, maybe QT comes up with like a hilarious catchphrase out of the whole thing, or just like they accidentally stumble upon something that works really good out of it. So I guess versus, hey, you're not going to do anything and we're just going to send you out for a match, versus let's try this and see if we can get anything to happen. If not, we'll drop it in a few weeks. I guess if you go that point, maybe it's like, let's see if you can make something out of this. Like, I can't imagine they're like, I don't see Tony Khan sitting there like, all right, QT, this is it. This is your ticket to superstardom. Like, there's no way that was going on, but it might have been like, hey, here's a lottery ticket. See what you guys can get out of it. It's better than you doing nothing.
Yeah, I don't know, because I remember watching ECW, and I never knew what the hell was going on with their storylines, but I was always entertained by them.
Right.
So, I don't know. But
well, you're not going to get like the crazy car crash matches out of QT and Dustin, though, to draw you to them. So you're going to need something. So I'm going to pretend in my mind that that's what it is here's your lottery ticket of at least some kind of story to tell.
Sure.
Would you rather have nothing?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And again, like Nightmare Collective, they dropped that pretty quick once they realized it wasn't going to work. I imagine the same thing. They'll be like, okay, we need to end this. Butcher Blade, come beat him up. There you go.
Well, like, yeah, I would say the Brandon Cutler and the Librarian is more interesting than the QT thing. So that's just my opinion.
Well, right. And that started out as like, whatever, but they've kept it going to where it got good.
Yeah.
I don't know if this thing has the potential to get good, but
no.
It at least, I'm going to be optimistic here and go, again, they're giving them some time to do something, which is better than not getting an opportunity to do anything. So,
yeah, sure.
Like, I'm sure
I said it last week, and I'll say it again this week. You have to give me more than just him eating an apple for me to care about him. So.
Well, he changed to the green apple. Like, she made him change to the green apple because he had chose the wrong kind of apple. Yes. Superstar does not eat red apples, apparently.
Apparently, yes. So,
myself, I would say a Honeycrisp apple.
You have to give me more.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get there. I mean, he's got a Corvette now. He's got hair transplant.
He does.
Which I'm so glad that they talk about the hair transplant. And they didn't just pretend that nothing was going on.
Yeah.
like something's going on with this dude's hair. What is up? And they're like, oh yeah. So yeah, that was AEW. Let's see. Hey, you want to do predictions for NXT? I don't.
I mean, I don't know anything about any of the wrestlers, so it would be terrible.
to be fair, our Double or Nothing, we actually know what's going on, and they were pretty bad.
Yes, they were.
So,
I mean, you can run them down if you want to, and I can tell
really.
you by their names.
No, because if we end up doing better, not knowing what's going on, it's even more depressing. So
Sure.
We still got a few. We're not super long yet. I had pulled up some conspiracy stuff.
Okay.
Just trying to find some different things to talk about, but us talking about carpet cleaning and pot at the beginning of the show was
It's true.
Have you ever heard? So I found What Culture looking for just like awful conspiracy theories. So one of the things that come up a lot is the moon not being real. Now I think we've talked about that on the show a couple times, but I've never actually thought this. So the moon, one of them says it's a projection because it's hiding something. What on Earth or what on moon would they be hiding is my question. Yeah. Like, would it be a spaceship or a base? Like, any idea?
So why would they need to project a moon
on something that is the size of a moon?
Yeah.
Like what?
So it's hard for me to even think about it because
that's not how your brain works.
It's not how my brain. Well, because it's not like the moon just stays like a perfect circle all the time. There's always half moons.
Well, yeah, they got different...
Sometimes there's a new moon.
Well, they got different slides. It's like the overhead projector in school. You just put a different slide up there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a lowercase a. Sometimes it's capital A. Sometimes it's cursive A. Same with the moon.
Okay, so
because they're sitting there laughing at you for being dumb. We're gonna tell them that there's a full moon and a crescent moon. The idiots. They're gonna believe it.
Yeah, I don't know. So I guess if I was going to go down that conspiracy route, maybe hiding a spaceship. I guess we'll go with that route.
Some kind of like a Death Star, basically. Not like to destroy planets, but something like that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been easier to just paint it up to make it look like the moon than projecting the moon on it?
I think it'd be easier to get a different conspiracy because I just don't. Yeah, I mean I don't understand. What would be the point?
You know what would be the greatest thing? You know what they're hiding with the moon projection?
What?
The moon. Like,
sure.
You find out that they're projecting the moon on the moon, and it's like,
yes.
What? They're like, yeah, we've been doing this for decades. Why? Like, well, look, you can't really see the moon that well. When we put the projection, it makes it look a lot better.
Yes.
Like, that would be the reality of it, too. It'd be something stupid like that. Because, again, the thing that always falls apart for me with these conspiracies is that many people are able to keep it a secret. Yes. Like, that's what...
Well, it's just like the conspiracy theory of that the NFL is rigged. Right? The Patriots winning all those... The amount of money that you would need to keep that skill under... Yeah.
Because, like, the field goals, I don't... How impressive would it be that all those field goal kickers are that much better?
Yes.
Those crazy misses or makes are all on purpose. Like, yeah, this week we're gonna... It's Vince McMahon controlling it. He's like, all right, this week I'm gonna need you to bank a 63-yarder in off the post for the extra drama. All right.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah.
Yes.
I can't see you having that many people involved, even for the kind of money that the players and people involved make. Mm-hmm. Someone on the staff is going to blab about it.
Whoa. Sure.
Just whack the crap out of my table. But yeah, so
are you being attacked right now by revealing these conspiracy theories?
They're coming through my arm. Yes. Have you ever heard one of the other ones that I've I've never heard this, I don't think, that dinosaurs helped build the pyramids.
No.
Now, the only thing I can find is someone found some kind of like dinosaur bone in a pyramid or something.
Okay.
Fair enough, but I mean,
okay.
Why don't
So
why aren't there more dinosaurs depicted in text or drawing from the era?
Because they drew everything.
Yes. Well, it was a secret.
I guess.
I mean, what if the dinosaurs told them not to?
Yeah. So, I mean, that would be a more logical thing. Like that, and I use that term loosely. That the dinosaurs told them that no, people can't know that we live there.
Yeah, I don't know, but I've never heard of that one before somehow. So I don't know if that's a new theory or an old one.
Yeah.
But which dinosaurs do you think they would get help from? Now, obviously, we're throwing out like where certain dinosaurs might have lived in certain areas. Yeah. We're just going with all dinosaurs are available. I would assume, even though Brontosaurus wasn't real, there are similar dinosaurs with the big neck. I assume you try to get one of them to act as a crane, right? I'm looking at a picture that gave me that idea.
Very Flintstone-y, yes.
I would assume you're finding like the herbivores, right?
Yeah, I was assuming like Triceratops would be more like a bulldozer-ish type thing.
Or an oxen, like really any of it. If you're able to corral a dinosaur, I mean, they're going to be able to help you drag the stones wherever you need to.
And then if you need slave labor, I'm assuming you would use like raptors and T-Rexes as the threat thing, yes.
Yeah, it's like around your perimeter.
Yes.
Now, based on a documentary I saw where they had dinosaurs at a park, the raptors are very hard to control.
Sure.
Like, there's multiple documentaries talking about the trouble with those things. So I don't know if...
You know, I did see something that always makes me laugh. They're like, somebody just made a sound once with their mouth and said, "You know what? This is how a dinosaur sounds."
Yeah.
Which is true.
They really just make clucking sounds, like my neighbor's chickens.
They moo like cows.
Or what if they just really did talk?
That's true.
Like, all right, Pharaoh, we'll help you with this. However, no pictures. No cave drawings, no hieroglyphs.
You can put your gods with have Birdman and have everything else up there, but you will not put us up here.
And we are not working on the same pyramid that the aliens are.
Yes.
Now,
I mean, that conspiracy theory is more logical than the dinosaurs to me.
The alien one?
The alien one more than the dinosaurs. Yes.
I was going to ask which one you would think. I'm going with aliens over the two.
Yeah.
But them, like, dinosaur pyramid building would be awesome.
Sure.
It'd be like that show Dinosaurs where they have, like, the little blueprints and the hard hats.
I hated that show. My sister loved it, and I had some friends that loved it, but oh god, I hated that show.
You didn't roll laughing every single time that baby did not the mama and bopped the dad in the head?
I thought it was so stupid. I'm like, this is dumb.
All right. Yeah. The last thing there's a few other things, but I got one more here. This isn't even really conspiracy. This is just one of those things. Are you familiar with like healing crystals or healing rocks or things like that?
Yeah, like what's his face? Andy Kaufman be a part of that or something.
Yeah, he got into that when he was not well. I heard about this on a stream the other day, and it just made me laugh a little bit. Obviously, I don't really believe in this stuff. Shungite is something, and it's one of those stones where it's basically like an old stone that's got like carbon and stuff like that. But the amount of things it's proposed to do, it will protect you from 5G. It basically any kind of electromagnetic frequency, you just set it on your breaker box apparently, and all the evil that comes in from the company, the electric company. It can cleanse and purify water, and somehow it adds beneficial minerals to the water.
No, I kind of maybe. I'll back that one up. Maybe I might
could do something to the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know that it's adding minerals to it if it's not dissolving. Like otherwise, it's just a rock sitting in water to me. But I mean, if you've ever seen like contacts, you have like the contact. There's a solution, and then the case you actually put them in is like the balance to it, and it gives a reaction and it changes the chemical property. So I could see where maybe there's a rock that has something weird that does something with water. It can.
Just see, I don't see it benefiting you. I see it more like the minerals inside the rock actually hurting you. You know,
right? But it could change the water. Somehow it assists with cell rejuvenation.
Okay.
I don't know about that. Boost your energy levels. All kinds of these other things. The site
so now we have reached the level of kryptonite, basically. Okay. Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're into that, now some of it's like a placebo thing, where if you believe it's going to help you, it will. Which placebo effect is very powerful. So whatever. But the site I'm looking on is shamansisters.com. Is one of the links to it. Again, like I don't buy into that stuff. I used to have I'd make necklaces out of quartz crystal, but it was because we had a geode in the backyard that I broke when I was in high school. I was like, sweet crystals. People will pay money for these. Had nothing to do with me believing in anything other than quartz crystal looks cool. So that was what it was about for me. But I'm sure people are like, oh, this is going to do magic for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel sorry for people. I mean, because what it is, most people that look for that type of stuff is because they're out of desperation, like Andy Kaufman. Because he died of like a brain tumor, didn't he?
He had. I can't remember what it was. I saw the movie, but yeah, they were pulling something out of it. Like in the movie, they portrayed it as like he went to this mysticism healer that was pulling stuff out of people, and he realized it was a sleight of hand trick. And now whether that's how it really happened or not, I don't know.
Sure. So I mean, it's still like the snake oil salesman. They pry on people's, desperation.
Vulnerabilities. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Myself, the only shaman I personally am trusting is going to be Thrall. As long as I've not challenged him to, is it Makra? Where he's going to cheat. Yeah, where he's going to cheat and kill me in the middle of a field on a different universe, and then lose the faith of the elements.
Yeah, and I guess Blizzard kind of did touch on that a little bit. That he pretty much
he's just a warrior now.
Just an evil guy there when it came to what's his face?
Garrosh.
What's his name? Garrosh. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Garrosh was a pretty bad person too, but yeah. We should do an episode on just how dumb that story got.
Yeah, it started off so cool, and then it became stupid.
And now we got Sylvanas with the second telling of it, basically. But so...
And it's just as bad, yes.
Anyway. Not a fan of non-radioactive rocks doing anything, basically.
Yeah.
It just seems like when something can do everything... I'm suspicious.
I was watching what's it called? Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
And I used to watch Ghost Hunters back in the day, and I stopped watching it because it just got so fake.
Right.
That I couldn't watch it anymore. But anyway, I guess they rebooted the series, and it's on a different channel now. And they're still doing the same stuff, but so they're like in this haunted hospital apparently. And so this hospital was made back in the 18 whatever, I don't know. And apparently that's where it's being haunted by those ghosts. And so they get a flashlight out, and they're like, if you are here with us, turn the flashlight on. And I'm thinking, well, would they even know what a flashlight is?
Right. Well, yeah, because if most of the time, ghosts are trapped when they died, kind of.
Yeah.
It's never been explained that the ghosts are able to learn new stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know what a flashlight is or how to work it.
Exactly. And they and the one theory that I like, because it explains a lot to me, at least, that the ghosts are like trapped. Speaking of minerals and stuff, are basically it's just a tape recording of your energy inside your body.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, we're just big batteries.
Yeah.
And like certain like times of the year, either it be the humidity or like an actual storm coming in or whatever, those projections are able to come back out through the minerals because of basically the minerals have made a tape recording of yourself.
Okay.
So you just keep like redoing the things that you were doing whenever you were recorded, I guess, throughout history, and you just keep playing the same stuff over and over again. It's not you, it has nothing to do with your spirit or anything. It was just your body energy was recorded in the minerals at the time, which I think is fascinating.
That could be, I mean, there is energy and stuff. Like, we're making a little bit of a fun on the rock thing, but yeah, there's definitely like something to do with some energy. With different environments. I don't think you can carry a rock around and it's going to protect you from 5G, or that you need protectors from 5G. But
yes,
you know what would be funny? And maybe we should do this. Is go around to supposedly haunted places and be like, "Ghost, if you're here, can you solve this Rubik's cube?" Or like, "Ghost, if you're here, can you rebuild the transmission in this car?" Like, just
yes, yes. Like
I guess
for whatever
there's no
reason,
ghost.
because he's a.
They're like, this is the ghost of Lancelot. Lancelot, if you're here, can you fit the thermal paste on this correctly?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be an excellent YouTube series. We should get on that.
Yeah. So, Ross, to close this up here, what are you looking forward to next week as far as wrestling, movie watching, game playing?
I'm going to do... We didn't get to touch on it much. I want to research the new supposed Conan Exiles map, because that excites me.
Okay.
I hope Dynamite is good. I hope NXT is awesome. I hope to find out more information on dinosaurs building pyramids, and we find something that's true, because that'd be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I hope
to watch Harley Quinn more.
Yeah, our source is on vacation right now, so eventually we will get back to it
one day.
So I hope that I'm able to get 5 million gold so I can buy my Brontosaurus milk. I am now at 600,000 gold. I don't think I'm going to make it, but never know.
You are double what I have. So
yeah.
I have been more just really I've been trying to get 300 of those stupid medals to get the teleportation ring for my warrior. Like, that's really all I've been doing.
Okay.
So, yeah. I have a few current thoughts on WoW to go for next week, I have the feeling. Because I'm still playing a little bit, but I've definitely accomplished what I wanted.
Yeah.
So I'm down cycling, but that's probably a good amount of time to cycle down before the expansion.
Yeah.
So,
sure. So now you're in your holding process.
Possibly. Like, it's looking for something. I was trying to play Civilization, where you could get it free on the Epic's game store. But I've read no instructions or tutorials and have never played Civilization before, so I have no idea what I'm doing. So
nice.
I'm getting decimated every time I play because I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's it for me.
That's it for me too. You guys have a great week.
Later.